being said, I'm just going to turn it over to our fearless leaders who absolutely blazing the trails of success. And I'm telling you, listen, she may be the senator's wife, but she's a business builder, multimillionaire entrepreneur, mother, wife. I mean, she superstar tennis player, right? She's going up against Serena and Venus. Go ahead, girl. We see you. So I love it. I love it. And I mean, her accolades just extend, as well as a lover of God and people and wanting to see us win. And then her counterpart, her business partner, they just the dynamic duo who make it all happen. I mean, he absolutely is just one of the best leaders. I'm talking about transformation specialists that I know. Give it up for the incredible Cheryl Morley, the powerhouse trainer, Paul Croteau. Take it away, guys. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Linda. And it's so funny because we just got done doing a 4-hour goal setting workshop last night. And we were talking about saying things in the positive tense, like it already happened. So I love it when you call her the senator's wife, because it's actually won't happen for 2 more years, but we got to put that out there now that's what's going to be happening in the future, right?
The seeds we plant now will manifest in 2 years.
Absolutely. So I love it, love it, love it. And Cheryl, what I also love is your background. Now, normally we have fake backgrounds behind us, and we have like the the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco or the skyscrapers from New York City. But today, Cheryl really does have skyscrapers from New York City in her penthouse suite that she's staying in this week.
Oh no.
So awesome, Cheryl. Way to live the life you want.
Yeah, listen, that's what it's all about. When your daughter's dream is to be on Broadway, you've got to bring her to some Broadway plays. So that's what we're doing. Yes, for Christmas.
Shopping. So, I know shopping's your favorite thing to do. You'll be shopping all week.
Yeah, well, not really, but we are excited to be here, and I'm excited to be here on this call. And last night was awesome, Paul. Okay, so we started out with an 1.5-hour call and it turned into 4 hours. That's how fantastic that was. It was amazing. And I'm just so excited that we can really design our lives instead of live them by default, because that's really how I did it for so many years. So it's awesome. And I'm excited to talk about that today.
Yeah, absolutely. So our title, as Linda mentioned, for today, and then we got a crazy busy week we've had. So we did the goal setting workshop last night. We'll tell you more about that and how to watch the video from that in the replay. We had this call this morning, which is outstanding, my favorite call of the week. And also we have our big New Year's call coming up today too. So holy cow, we got an action-packed day here of excitement. So super, super awesome. So the title, as Linda mentioned, for today's call is How to Plan Out 2023. And there's no better way to plan out 2023 than to start by reviewing 2022. So if you go to elevateyourlife.com, you can click on podcast at the top. And we just did a podcast. So it was podcast 131 about how to review your year. So we went extensively into how to do it, but we're going to just touch on it today briefly, because that's really the starting point of planning out 2023 is knowing what the heck happened in 2022, right, Cheryl?
Yeah. And if you did not keep track of that, then you're going to have to look back and think about it, which is much harder than keeping track of it. So this next year, make sure that you're keeping track of all these different things that we're talking about. And then at the end of 2022, it will be easier because you will be able to see all of the things that you wrote down for 2022. So if you didn't do it in 2021, which I know a lot of people that I talk to, that's something that they didn't even really know about or pay attention to, then you're just going to be starting in 2022, but you have to think back and kind of remember how your life looked in 2021.
Absolutely. So what we with all of our health coaches that we meet with, and we encourage everyone in longevity to do this, is to get with someone who is a certified holistic health coach and take a health evaluation right now to know what your health score is. So every year, at the end of the year, I take another health evaluation, regardless of what's going on. And I get my score, and then I look back last year on this exact date, and I can see what my score was last year. So last year, it was a 90 92, and this year it's a 95. So I can see that there's improvement, that something happened. You know, I've been taking my supplements every single day. I've been working out, been drinking water, following the Keto 90 diet, like doing all these things. Is it showing up? Like, where's my health at? So that's a great thing to start with. Your weight is obviously something. So I weigh myself every week, but I look at years. So I have like the past 6 or 7 years listed of my weight every single year at the end of the year. And hey, how did this year go? Did I lose weight? Did I gain weight? You know, what happened? So it's super important to get those numbers, as Cheryl mentioned, written down now. So if you don't know what your weight was a year ago, next year at this time, when we do this exact same call in the exact same way, you won't be so lost to know what your health score is, what your weight was. And another thing that I track, Cheryl, is the amount of time I spend on personal growth. So our number one thing with Elevate, obviously, is growing. We got to grow. And the number one thing to grow is yourself. So Linda is the ambassador for personal growth. I mean, she is just the shining example of how great personal growth is and how powerful it is, and what an amazing, you know, she was amazing already, but now she's just like out in another universe above all of us with all the personal growth that she's done. So if you're struggling with, okay, I don't know, okay, I want to do 30 minutes or an hour personal growth a day, but I don't know how to do it or what to spend my time on. Listen, that nightly dose is your starting point.
Yep.
That is gold. I mean, Linda does that every single night. It's recorded if you missed it. So just listen, before I go to bed, I'm going to put something positive into me. And there's nothing more positive than what Linda does every single day. We do 2 podcasts every single week. So you can go to elevateyourlife.com, listen to the podcast. We have 131 of them done already. So if you missed any of them, I mean, what Cheryl and I do is we read all these books, we do all this personal growth, and then condense it down into a 20-minute podcast. So it's, you know, super beneficial. That we went over the 21 laws of leadership this year, Cheryl.
Yep.
The brand new version of the book, that was awesome. I mean, that was probably one of the highlights of the whole year, is going through that book and doing podcasts on each one of those chapters. A life-changing book I read this year was called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it yet, can't encourage you enough to read that. It is absolutely life-changing. Again, Brendon Burchard's book, High Performance Habits, is something I refer to every single day. I'm always thinking about those 6 habits, and am I doing those 6 habits? Because those are the habits of high performers. And then if you burn through all of that and you still want to do some more personal growth, what you should do is go to this website called YouTube. It's youtube.com, and type in the words Tony Robbins. And there's like 700,000 videos that will come up. If you burn through all of those, Tony Robbins learned everything he knows, or most of the things he knows, from Jim Rohn, which is another person you should type in and get personal growth from. So, you know, as we've been passing the torch a little bit here, Cheryl. So, you know, I always want to remain humble, but I know that Tony Robbins went to all these Jim Rohn events and caught on to what Jim was saying. And like, you know what? He was bold enough to say, I'm going to be bigger and better than Jim Rohn. And he ended up doing that. So that is our goal now. Cheryl and I are the new Tony Robbins. Right. And we really took everything he's been teaching, and we've gotten to a point now, we've been following for so long, that we can see some things that, you know, maybe we have a different opinion on. And some things we've gotten from other trainers and leaders that we've been following. And so we take everything that we learn, we put it into a blender, turn it on, mix it all up, and then we get our own material out of that. And I think that's what makes our podcast so special, Cheryl.
Yeah, I'm loving doing it. It's something that I really never even considered until the last little bit. You know, I never thought that, I just thought you were born how you were born. I've said this, you know, before, that it's just the way you are. There's not, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. If you're born good, wonderful. If not, then, oh, well. But I just think that's the coolest thing, you know, that we can change things, that we can design them. And so another thing that we can look at, so personal growth, absolutely. But the other thing, some other things that we need to look at is our income. So where's our income? Is it more? Is it less? Is it the same as it was at the end of last year? Also, savings and investments. How's that going for you? What about debt? Right? Where's the debt? I just read a statistic that says there's more credit card debt in the US now than there's ever been. Right? So that's something that all of us need to look at and consider, and just, really pay attention to that. Instead of never looking at it and never thinking about it, it's something that we need to look at and make sure that we're paying down our debt. Also, our credit score is another great way to see what your credit score is, and then really work towards having that become better. So, and that's so helpful throughout the year to have that as a goal. And then, of course, Paul, all of your different relationships that you have, work on those. Are they better now than they were a year ago? Are they, are you struggling in some areas with different relationships? And if so, pay attention to those and just have that as one of your goals, to really keep those relationships where you want them to be, or to elevate them, right? Because love and connection and having those relationships is so important for all of us.
Yeah, it's something we all need. And I know you really embraced that this year, Cheryl, and have done an amazing job at building relationships, not only with your family, but with all the people in longevity and with me. So thank you for elevating all the relationships in your life this year. But last but not least, the thing we want you to compare year to year. So again, what Cheryl was saying is that we're looking at like our credit score from last year at this time to now. So I get a snapshot of where it was a year ago and what I am today, and all these numbers that we've gone over here so far today. But the last thing that we want to really kind of review is our emotional state. How are we doing emotionally? And Cheryl and I have some very strong opinions on the state of emotions in this country right now, and really the whole world. So you think back, so March 16th of 2020, this pandemic started, and it was supposed to be, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve turns into 2 years. So really things started getting like back to normal, if you want to say that, in March of 2022. And I'm like, oh, things are like, you can see it winding down. We're going to get back to normal, the way things used to be, right? But no. And so if you think about it, though, it's just been like what, 7. So the FDA dropped the mask mandate on airplanes, which is kind of like the last thing to go, was May 3rd. So we're talking like 7 months now only. Isn't that a long time that we're kind of getting over this? And it's, Cheryl, I don't know. Well, I guess one good word would be a hangover. Like I thought, April 3rd, or I'm sorry, May 3rd, boom, where everything's back to perfect again. But I was wrong about that.
Yeah, I think there's a huge change. Yeah, I think there's a huge change. I think there's a big difference. And I'm seeing it in, certainly with the people that I'm coaching, with the people that I'm talking to, but I'm seeing even a bigger change and a bigger struggle, especially emotionally, for teenagers and for kids between like 15 and 25. I mean, it has, yes, absolutely changed their lives, but I think they're struggling to even know what to do now, where to go, where to turn, how to do it. And even a little bit older. Like, I have a friend that's about 29, and we were talking the other day about this exact thing. And he's like, it's just like everyone's asleep, or they're confused, or they're frozen, like they're scared that something will happen again. So they don't really want to make a move. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to start anything new. They're just kind of, really, he said it like frozen in time, like they're just too scared to move. So, and I thought that was so interesting the way that he put it. And that's what I'm seeing too, right? I mean, I'm seeing the same thing, but this emotional state is really something that we're going to be focusing on a lot over the next year, and really giving people and showing people that there is so much hope out there, right? Which is something that I love.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cheryl and I think the thing that is my biggest win, we're going to talk about wins here in a second, but the biggest win is the way Cheryl and I handled our emotions during that 2 years and over the past 7 months. mean, I'm really proud of us, what we did. We of course were confused in the beginning, like everyone was, like, what the heck's going on here? But we knew that this is going to end sooner or later. It ended up ending later than we thought, but it did end. And we knew that, you know, you're going to either come out of this either on the positive or the negative. You know, I mean, the COVID-19 also was the exact number of pounds that people gained during the pandemic. So, you know, people gained weight, they went into this depression, they kind of just got disorientated. You know, I'm still looking for the right word to use to describe it, but it's something that is still lingering around. So you just want to review yourself, like, where am I emotionally? And the big word that the three emotions that Cheryl and I promote the most are, number one, gratitude, feeling grateful. Like, that is where the whole thing starts. So that's, if you're struggling emotionally, lead with gratitude. And then, so grateful for everything you got, and then excited about everything that's coming. You got your vision board on. Tara just mentioned that she saw my vision board on Pinterest. Cheryl got me hooked on Pinterest full time here. So now that's my new home there. So you can see our vision board. So we're always, you know, keeping our emotions high. We're excited about all the things that are coming into our life. We're going into 2023 excited. That is the emotion we're feeling. And Cheryl also mentioned to me, because I was like kind of thinking about, well, what's the third emotion? Because we always like to work in threes that we really have. And she mentioned the word strong. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So Cheryl's big word always is strong. Stay strong, be strong, you know, and that is, no matter what's going on, we stay strong. And I love that. And thank you, Cheryl, for all your input on these things, and the wisdom that you have is just tremendous.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's talk about celebrating your wins, because that is the next part. So once you see the differences, like at the end of the year, and where you're at, you've got to celebrate your wins. I think this is so important, Paul, because it's something that I never really thought about, or I never really did, right? You just keep moving forward. Like, that's what I learned from my dad. My dad's like, don't worry about anything that's happened in the past, just keep moving forward, which, okay, but you do have to celebrate your wins. And I think it's really important to celebrate your wins and to realize how fantastic each of you are, right? You have to think about those wins, and we call it a cookie jar too, but you have to fill the cookie jar each year and then celebrate those wins as they happen, and certainly celebrate them at the end of the year and all the fantastic things that each of you have done. I mean, everyone on here, right? We know that there's been great things that you've done this year. So just celebrate those.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, so you just go up to the numbers you already gathered up top. So my health score went up, my weight went down. You know, I spent all this time on personal growth. You know, my income jumped up. And so all these wins that you have, whatever the wins are, and every year, I'm going to give you a little insight now, because I've been doing this for a long, long time. Every year, you're going to have some wins and some things that went good and some things that went not so good. So it's okay. It's just the way life is. You know, there's fall, there's winter, there's spring, there's summer. So there's all these different seasons. There's different seasons in our life. Some things will be going good, some things will not be going good. So you got to look at the things that the challenges you're having, like, oh my gosh, my savings went down, or my debt went up, or my credit score went down. Like something bad, I'm sure, happened this year to you. I don't know anybody that's had a perfect year and everything's gone up. So you want to look at those things and identify, and let's not make things any worse than they are. You know, I think a lot of people turn a molehill into a mountain, but at the same time, we don't want to sugarcoat things either, you know, which I think a lot of people do, and they make things sound better than they really are. So you want to just be honest. What is the honest truth? Where you really stand? And then take it from there and say, okay, these are the changes I really want to make. This is how I want to elevate my life in 2023 and make myself be a better version of me. I talk about the iPhone, how every single year it comes out. Now we're on iPhone 14. Now it's so funny because I've seen a picture of the different iPhones throughout the years. So iPhone 1 looks like it was made in the dinosaur age, you know, but it was like 14 years ago. So, like, who would use that? But I remember the day it came out, I was in line to get it. I was one of the first people, you know, I got the day it came out. And it was just so amazing, and now it looks like a hunk of junk compared to what the 14 is. So the same thing's got to happen with us. So right now in January, there's a brand new version of Paul. Instead of iPhone 13, it's Paul 50 that's coming out. So I've been working on redesigning myself all year and coming out with this new improved version of myself with all these new features that's in version 50. And I know that as good as version 50 is, version 51 is going to be even better. And I know, Cheryl, that's something that you've really embraced in your life and help other people embrace is keeping that hope up for a compelling future.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. And I love some of the mantras that we have here. And just to be able to decide what changes we want to make, I think that right there is what hope is, right? So we can decide the changes we want to make, and we can make those for 2023. That's hope. And a mantra that I love that we have is my life is getting better and better every day in every way. And I love that. And saying that every day has really made a difference in my life. And I know, Paul, before you fall asleep every night, which I love this too, it says, my life is better today than it was yesterday, but not as good as it will be tomorrow. And just saying that, getting that into your mind, into we talk a lot about the nervous system, but just really having that become part of your life, I think really, I mean, both of those things have hope. I just feel hopeful when I say them, or when I help other people start to say those mantras every single day. I think it gives them hope. And I think that that's really what it's all about. We have to have hope, or why do the next thing? Why do the next right thing, right? If there's not hope in your life. So I love to show that to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the mantra that you mentioned, my life's getting better and better every day in every way, that you say that over and over again. We talk about rewiring our brains, and like, that sounds like, okay, well, how does that work? How would you rewire your brain? Well, it's a new mantra that you're having. You're putting your brain to a different direction, a different focus, because maybe you're focusing on how bad things are now, or you're focusing on this thing or that thing, your past story or your present story. So we want to change our focus to that. And it may seem kind of odd in the beginning because, well, Paul, my life's not getting better and better every day in every way. But say it for a week, see what happens. You're gonna text me back and be like, Paul, my whole life has changed because I started saying that and I started thinking those different thoughts. And as Cheryl mentioned, every night before I go to bed, I say, my life is better than it was yesterday. So what does that mean? It means I'm making progress in life, and progress equals happiness, but not as good as it will be tomorrow. So I'm always having that hope inside of me that tomorrow is going to be better. And that's the key to everything. I mean, that's the key to ending depression and all the other bad mental problems going out there, is feeling that you're making progress, and then having hope for tomorrow to be even better than today.
Yeah. Then the next thing we need to do is seek clarity, right? And I love this. It's just to become aware. It's to become aware of everything that's going on in your life, right? And that's the number one habit in the book, High Performance Habits, that's a great book. And it's how extraordinary people become that way. And I love that book, Paul. I think that it is so important, because as soon as we seek clarity, as soon as we become aware of what's going on, then we can design our life however we want it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole review thing is, like Cheryl just mentioned, is to seek clarity, to gain clarity on things. So when you finish this whole exercise, and it seems extensive, but it's worth the time, trust me, you'll be super clear on things. Like, you'll know what's going good, it's not going good, the changes you're going to make. So you're going to go into 2023 on a much better note. Now that we reviewed 2022, we have to set some goals for 2023. So we spent 4 hours last night doing this with people. I, being a little biased here, but I think it was the greatest goal setting seminar of all time. We brought up things that people never think about and never really realize why only 8% of all people reach their goals or reach their New Year's resolutions. And it's sad that 80% of the population doesn't even try. They don't even set a goal. They're just like, so the whole thing is, you got to decide if you want to live life by default or by design. So if you want to live life by default, that's fine. It's totally fine. Let's just see what happens. Let's just roll the dice in 2023, see what happens. Or we can get very intentional and design out 2023 to be exactly the way we want it to be. So I think everyone left there last night, Cheryl, with that feeling. If you want to watch that recording, just go to elevateyouryear.com. So elevateyouryear.com and fill in your name and email address. We're getting the recordings broken up into smaller videos right now. So if you just want to watch a section or two that you missed, or you can watch the whole thing, so that'll all be available to you. Hopefully today we're going to push to get that out so that everyone can watch that over this New Year's weekend here. So just real quick, Cheryl, let's just burn through in a couple minutes here as we end the call on some of the things we went over last night. So what's the number one thing people need to do to start setting goals for next year?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide where you want to end up at the end of 2023. Right? So that's the goals that you're going to set. You're going to set the goals for all of these different things. Your health score, I think, is one of the most important places to start, because health is more important, I believe, than pretty much anything else. If you don't have health, then you really, everything else kind of falls away. So really set that goal. And then the other goals in all of the other places that we've talked about, and just knowing where you want the result you want at the end of 2023, I think will make a huge difference for everyone.
To that point, Cheryl, you know, when you look at your income in 2020, 2021, 2022, the way you wanted to, maybe even went down a little bit. So don't feel bad about it. So don't go into this state of mass depression because your paycheck hasn't gone up. Just now be like, okay, I see that there's a trend going on here. It hasn't gone up in 3 years. So I'm going to make a change here in 2023. And this is the number it's going to be at the end of 2023. So put that intention out there to the universe and plant it in your mind that this is where my income is going to be at the end of this year. And Cheryl and I are very simple people. We don't need big monstrous things. So all we've done is just added a 0 to our income, which we discovered last night is a digit, but it's a small digit. It's the smallest digit there is. So that's 10xing your income. So whatever your income is, we encourage you to add a 0 to it and set that goal. Dream big in 2023, because I am telling you, this is the year. Everything's going to fall into place for all of us this year. This company is going to explode. The energy is just been building up. And I think a couple of days, Cheryl, this whole thing is going to take off like a rocket ship, and we will become the billion-dollar company we've always been meaning to be and should have been all along.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next thing we need to do is be grateful, right? So we talked about being grateful. So you guys can just jot this down if you'd like. This is part of the training. So you can go in there and we're just going to write a statement that says, I am so happy and grateful now that. So you're already set. That's setting an intention. It's setting an intention. I am so happy and grateful now that blank. So what is it that you're going to put in there? And then you need to be grateful for that and about that. And it hasn't even happened yet. But living in that gratefulness of something that is going to happen, I think is where I love that. That's where we start, Paul, and that's where we need to be. I love that.
So you literally would say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am making $100,000 a year in longevity. I mean, that's the intention you're putting out there. That's the focus. And we all know that impact drives income. So in order to make $100,000 a year in longevity, you have to impact a lot of lives. That's just how this thing works. That's why it's so beautiful. So, you know, people are like, oh, I want to focus on income. I want to focus on helping people. Well, here's the newsflash. The higher your income is, it means the more people you're helping, directly and indirectly. So keep that in mind and really set that number. I think money is just a convenient way to measure how many people you're helping in the world.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. And remember, you guys, all of this is in our training from last night. So you'll be able, so if something is sounding like, oh my gosh, I really want to look a little more into that, then it's all going to be in the recordings. And so the next one is you have to write out your goals every day, which I think is such a fantastic idea, because a lot of times it's that people forget what their goals are within the first week or two of writing them down, if they have written them down. A lot of times they just have them in their mind. So we want to write our goals down every day. The next one is super important, and it's change the order of your 6 human needs. So everybody has 6 human needs. And Paul, this has been a fascinating one to me, but we go in depth in the workshop. So you'll definitely want to look at that and see what that even means, because I did not understand that. And over the last couple of years, I've really come to understand it and completely changed the order of the needs that I had. And that's really made a difference.
Yeah, it's the most, our minds will do whatever it takes to achieve the needs in the order that we put them. And Cheryl, I think the big aha moment that I've seen in you over the past 8 years that we've been hanging out is that you really have seen now that you can change. I think you know, originally you're under the impression that, well, you just are who you are. Like you were just, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to continue to be. And that's how God arranged the whole thing. Not true. You can change anything. Your past does not equal your future. It's your decisions that determine your destiny. So you can make new decisions today on what your order of needs are. You can change your values. You can change your beliefs. You can change anything. So that was a really powerful section. As you mentioned, we also talk about elevating your state. So I think the number one reason why people don't reach their goals is because they just get into a bad state. I mean, I know the only way that I ever eat bad or miss a workout or something is because somehow I got into a bad state. But over the years, I've been able to catch myself. And I love what Cheryl says, because every so often, Jonathan would get into a bad state, and Cheryl would ask him, hey, could you ask me? I just want to wondering, how long are you going to be in that state for? Just so I know, because that's when I'll come back and talk to you. And then he would start laughing and then instantly break that, you know, whatever he was in. So that was something I always remember you talking about. And to get out of that, be aware. And I know, Cheryl, that's your favorite word, is awareness. Be aware of what's happening and then know how to change it really fast. And we go over all of that, how to change your state in 1 second, just by changing your physiology, changing your focus, changing the meaning you're giving to things. And a couple other things we go over there too. So we have a big section on that. And then also, Cheryl, I think one of the big parts is changing how we associate pleasure and pain in our lives. So a homework assignment for every single person is to watch the movie A Christmas Carol. It's the greatest movie of all time. And here's a guy, Scrooge, who absolutely didn't want to change. I'm miserable and I love it. Okay, this is how I am. But these 3 mindset coaches end up coming into his life. And at the end of the movie, he decides, well, you know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be super happy. I'm going to be super giving. And I know, Cheryl, you love that movie too, and the lesson behind it.
Yeah, I love it. I love that I like that you said mindset coaches, the ghosts that came into his life. But you guys, that's the way we need to look at ourselves too, right? I mean, that's who we are. We're guides. We are here to help people.
We're ghosts.
Yeah, we're
That's who we are.
But yeah, we're here to help them see those different things and see how they can make a change in their life. So I love that. Okay, so the next one is that you have to elevate your story. And I love this. Change your story, change your life. So whatever story you're telling yourself, that's the way you're living your life. And I just find it fascinating that you can write a new story, the story that you want at the end of 2023. You write a perfect story of how you want your life to look at the end of 2023, which, Paul, I thought this was the weirdest thing the first time I heard it. But by doing it, that is the way your life will be at the end of 2023. But you've got to write that story.
Yeah. And one of the most powerful things you'll find out from the recording when you watch it, if you weren't there live, was Angelica, your daughter, came on and read her new story. And for a 14-year-old, because everyone at 14 is got this discombobbled with things and all these things going on in their mind, everything's changing in the world. So to have and it was just, she was going through a little confusion, but now I think she's like a brand new girl since she wrote that story and really has something new to focus on how her life's going to end up and what a perfect life would look like for her.
Oh yeah. It's really made a change. And she's really, I think she said that she has clarity and she's aware and knows exactly what she's doing and how she's going to do it. And I just am so excited because I think it's really going to be able to help other kids her age in seeing, you know, what she's done and the way that she's done it. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also went over beliefs. So the first belief is life is blank. So everyone write down life is blank. What's the first word or phrase that comes to your mind when I say life is? Now, if you say life is hard, or life is difficult, or life sucks, or life is unfair, the chances of you reaching any kind of type of goal is slim to none. You know, so I always say that life is an amazing adventure. Like that's how I look at life. That's my belief about life. And let me tell you, no one's wrong. You can say whatever you want it is, but you get to decide what your belief is about life and what your belief is about making money. Is building a business here at Youngevity hard or easy? You decide. You can decide right now. Building a business is super easy. Like you just got to do these couple different things and that's it. I mean, I don't know if there's anything easier in the world. Losing weight, super easy. It's just 4 or 5 things you got to do every single day. It's not difficult at all. The strategy is not hard, but we just have to get into that belief system, a better belief system. So we talk about elevating your beliefs. We talk about the strategy, which is actually number 7, but everybody does that number 1. They just want to, okay, here's my New Year's resolution. And what am I going to do? They go right to the strategy and they miss all this other stuff we've been talking about. And that's why no one achieves their goals, you know, or I mean, we talked about last night how the average person gives up on their New Year's resolutions by January 13th. Like I'm just getting rolling here. Okay. Then they're already quitting. It's so unbelievable. And actually 68% of the people state that they've actually quit before January 13th. Like, man, that's just hard to believe from my point of view, but that's the way the world works. So the reason for that is because they don't have these other things in place.
Yeah. And even just doing it is a big first step, because a lot of times I think that we've set these goals and then let ourselves down. So many times we start thinking, why would I even do that again? I would rather, this was me, I would rather not set a goal and let myself down. I would rather just not set a goal because I'm tired of letting myself down. So then I wouldn't even set a goal. So I think that it's so, you know, you've got all of these steps are super, super important. Now, I think, Paul, number 8, which is our last step that we're going to talk about here and that we talked about in the workshop, in the videos that I think is so awesome, is you really have got to have a support system. So you have got to elevate your support system. Whatever your support system is now, you probably want to elevate it, because if you're not achieving the goals that you want to achieve, you have to have a support system to help you do that. Like a battle buddy. That's like one of my favorite things, is a battle buddy, somebody who's there to hold you accountable, to support you, to carry you through those hard times that will come, but that's all right, because you're there to help them also. So it's just, I love a support system. I think community has become one of the biggest things that every single one of us have to have and need to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just have seen it through the pandemic. Like we've created this community during the pandemic, the coaching community, the Elevate community. Cheryl, I know you're very passionate about the Find a Fabulous community that you created. Those really have carried us and so many thousands of other people through all of this hardship, you know, and the support system is everything. I mean, everything. So right. We can't encourage you enough. We have something called the Elevate Tribe. And we'll send you a link to it here. You go on Facebook, just type in Elevate Tribe. Elevate spelled a little weird, but it's right on my background here. So you can go there, and we encourage you to join. Cheryl and I are really, really committed to doing Facebook Lives and being super, super active in these communities, not only the Elevate community, but the coaching community. If you're not a certified holistic health coach, you need to become one. That community is unbelievable of people all heading in the same direction. We have a Keto 90 community for people who are losing weight and really want to get healthy. We have an Elevate Your Health community that we put videos in all the time and talk about everything about Dr. Wallach and the Youngevity movement. in there. So we got a lot of different things going on. So we want you to be, whatever you're interested in, join. And, but always start with the Elevate Tribe one. And if you're a lady, and you want to be part of Find a Fabulous, we encourage you to join that as well. Just type in Find a Fabulous on Facebook and you will find that group, and you'll just hit request to join, and Cheryl will let you in.
Yes. Thank you, Linda. That was so much fun today. It was awesome. We look forward to working with you and supporting you this next year in longevity. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. That was just so amazing. So like a quick story, well, two quick stories. So one, I'm sorry I missed your party, but my house, I was no power for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And then a pipe broke in my house. So
no.
Had no water, but thank God it broke like in a small corner. It wasn't everywhere. So that's a blessing. So thankful for that. But I got some water like around Tuesday. So sorry about that. And I didn't get back into my house until Christmas morning. So I was like, okay, Merry Christmas.
Wow.
Because it just got that cold. But second story. So many of you know I'm part of trading. It is like crazy amazing. And so Coach Davis, who's made $11 million in trading, real money in 11 months, amazing, has been coaching a group of us. And so he has us write every day that we're going to make $600,000 100 times. You must write it. You must put it in a group every single day. No excuses. And so, in my mind, I'm like, how am I going to do it? It didn't matter. I didn't need to know the how. So I'm writing it. And it was like, my daughter is calling me. I stopped for her once. I'll stop for her again in a minute because I'll be done. So I'm writing it. And in 1 week, I made $595,000 trading. 1 week. After doing that, and I was writing it for probably about 3 weeks up to that happening. Because I kept saying, like, in my mind, I'm like, is this really going to happen? Like, is it really? And then we're kicking off a new challenge of $600,000 starting January 1st. And it's really simple. We start with $500. It takes us to $500,000 in 4 months. And so we did this, but I did it in 1 week, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. Sometimes you don't need to know the how. You need to know the what, and the how will come. And I just kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and it became a part of my subconscious mind. I was thinking about it. I was sleeping about it. I got butterflies in my stomach, and it happened like that. So I just say that because it was just right in line with everything that you were saying. I wrote it down, wrote down my goals, wrote down my dreams. You don't need to know. Sometimes you get so stuck in, I got to know exactly everything. Where's it going to come from? How's it going to happen? And then you become stagnant and do nothing. But I just kept writing. And in 1 week, was I upset that I missed the 5,000? Maybe a little, because I wanted 600,000, but it was 595,000. And I did that in 1 week. And that was a few weeks ago. So I just say that what you all are saying is just real. It's epic. It's extraordinary. And I can't wait to go and watch the goal setting video. So I'll be checking that out. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Congratulations, Linda. That's amazing.
I know. And we're all excited. If it's not just me, it's many others that he coached along the way and said, no. And one of the main things that he said, Cheryl, an attitude of gratitude. Clarity is actually his number one key. He has 7, but clarity is number 1. And I believe gratitude is, I think, number 4 or number 3. But the very things that you're talking about that you need to catapult your destiny, your success, and live the life you want. I mean, and it's amazing because I see it across everyone in the company. Dr. Lewis talks about it. Tom Chenault talks about it. We talk about it. And to see that vision transcend, even when you're talking about different things, whether it's coaching or whatever, that we're all on one accord. It's absolutely, amazing. And he keep hearing, I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about the same stuff again. Oh my God, and it just excites me because I'm like, I'm on the right track. So we're about to do this whole $500,000 thing again, real money, starting January the 1st. And I'm excited. And y'all I'm like, I'm ready to go. Yes. Y'all just inspired me again. So thank you so much. We love you guys. We honor you. Thank you for an incredible year of Thursdays. And we look forward to another incredible year of the last Thursday of every month and everything that you all do to just help us realize and live the life that we want. Going from fine to fabulous, Cheryl. Thank you, girl. Senator's wife. We got you, girl.
Love you.
Because we're gonna say it for the next year, to the year after that, because then guess what? The only thing that's happened is that the title hasn't caught up yet. So we already know it's a done deal. So I love it. So thank you so much. I'm gonna unmute the Zoom. Do you guys have any last words before we go?
30
Love you,
minutes, the
Linda.
biggest call of the year is coming up. Make sure everyone's
Oh, yeah.
on the biggest call of the year. Longevity Facebook page. New Year's call starts in 30 minutes.
That's right. We're having the New Year's call early this year. So get on, 30 minutes to go. Let's make it happen. And I think, I don't know if they're doing, I don't think they're doing a 1-star call, but just get on that. Get on the 30 minutes. Steve Wallach, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be epic and extraordinary. Love you guys. You all are the best. I'm going to unmute the Zoom. Everybody give it up for the amazing Paul Croto, the phenomenal Cheryl Morley, E. Mord, and of course, Sade, one of the girls I mentioned.
I love you, Paul.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye.
Ashe, love you.
Thank
Peace.
you, Cheryl. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Hi, in the
Thank you.
welcome.
Happy
God
New
bless
Year.
Paul.
to
Happy New
everyone.
Year.
New Year. Thank you for all your
Happy New
tips.
Year.
They're wonderful. God bless
Happy
you.
New Year. Happy New Year.
y'all. Have
Thank
a
you.
Love you,
Thank you,
Cheryl.
Linda.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank y'all. Happy New Year. We'll see
Happy
you
New Year.
Happy New Year.
to you all. Tony,
Happy New Year.
Carmen,
Bye. Thank you,
Thank
Carmen.
you.
Mary.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Hey, happy
Down
New
in
Thank
Year.
New York.
Enjoy New York, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
And
Hey, hey,
Yeah. God bless you. God
Happy
bless
New
you.
Year, everyone.
Give me a
Super.
souvenir
Yes.
from New
Happy
York.
New Year.
oh my gosh,
Thank you,
Carmen,
Linda. Thank you.
Queen
Thank you.
Mary, the amazing
Thank
Tony Freeland. She's on twice. I see you. Christine.
Thank you.
Gosh. Oh, Jill, it's good to see your beautiful face. Hi.
God bless you. Yes.
I guess
This
you
was
came here.
amazing.
Right. Bobby Knight, Sandria. Oh my gosh. Jason, superstar, Dia,
Thank
all of you guys. Have a blessed and amazing day,
you. You
superstars.
too.
You
God bless you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
healthy hour tonight.
Yes,
Peace.
Happy Healthy Hour. Don't miss it. 8:30 Eastern.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
No, Betty Richardson announced this morning on Hair on Fire, it's not tonight.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I guess you guys are having a little vacation.
Spend
Happy
time
New
with your
Year.
family.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's
guys.
a happy healthy hour.
Bye-bye.
Stars.
Love
Bye.
you all. Later.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Peace.